guys, welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Plant Medicine, Cannabis, Psychedelics, and Pharmaceutics. Today, I have these amazing ladies. I call them giants. They are tackling this monster we women, we call it menopause. Oh, I know the men are rolling their eyes and wondering, oh, this is not for me. No. If mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy in this house. So you need to sit down, amen, and hang out with us today. But before we go on, you guys know what's up. You know what's up. We got to do house cleaning. This show is for educational purpose and should not be taken as medical advice. Consult with your doctor for all your medical needs. Do not stop or start any medicine without talking to your doctor. Having said that, what show is this? This is Let's Talk Plant Medicine. And who the heck am I? I am Dr. Lola, also known as Dr. O. I'm a clinical pharmacist by trade and plant medicine specialist. You guys call me plant medicine queen. That's what's going on. I grew up in western part of Africa. Early childhood was spent in that area where I use herbal medicine as wellness too. That's our first line of therapy. So bringing that knowledge as well as my clinical background to help you navigate this space, saving money on your healthcare costs and avoiding adverse reaction. So what is next on our house cleaning? What is next? That is sponsored. The show is sponsored by WCI Health. They are the makers of glows. When you think of glows, what should come to your mind? The beauty that comes from within. That is your glow is for all that you love, your pets and everything. It's a CBD infused product. Where do you find this product? Go check it out on wci-health.com or slide in DM to find out more about it. WCI Health 19 on IG. Having said that, I want to say thank you to you, all of you that are members of Health Equals Wealth. You are indirectly supporting this show. And if you are out there, you are still sitting on the side, come on, join our village, man. We need you in here. Join us. And to sponsor this show, go to our website, wci-health.com, or check our Patreon page. Having said that, have you picked up your copy yet? Can you see that? This is a pharmacist's guide to cannabis, perspective of a non-conforming clinician. Carrie and Patty, they're going to be sharing with us today. But on top of what they're going to be sharing with us, this is a book you do not want to not have with you. Are you a dispensary? You're going to save your bartender a lot of work. Basics, no medical jargons, straight to the point. What do I need for sleep? Go in here and find it out. So go grab your copy, wci-health.com, or you can get it on Amazon, also in the Kindle version. Like I said, I have amazing ladies with me today. I have Carrie Maples. Did I call your last name right?
That's okay. It's Mapes.
Mapes. Thank you. I was like, I'm going to have to ask her. I'm going to mother this name.
It happens all the time.
I'm going to mother this name. Okay, I have Carrie Mapes with me and Patty Pappas. These are the founders of Hello Again. What is Hello Again? Hello Again is a unique brand. These ladies are focused on menopause. Menopause is a major issue for us women. And like I said earlier, if we ain't happy, ain't nobody happy in the house. So these brave women, they have taken it upon themselves to not shy away from this topic and address it. They have a product and they're going to be talking to us about it as we go on the show. Carrie and Patty, how are you guys doing?
We're great. Thank you. We're happy to be here.
Okay, cool. Carrie, can you talk to me? Tell me about yourself, how you find yourself in this space.
Oh my gosh. I'm shocked every day that I'm in this space because I was not a lifelong cannabis user. I grew up in, the United States during the war on drugs, and I listened, and I was also probably a little chicken. And I really didn't have any experience with cannabis at all. And I'm a mother of two. I was an elementary school teacher and I raised my kids. And when they went off to school, my good friend of 20 years, Patty, Pappas, and I went off to a dispensary. And what we learned there really changed the course of both of our lives, starting with feeling good because we creatively problem solved our own menopause. But I think you're going to ask Patty about herself too. So I'll let her talk before you ask us about hello again.
Awesome. Patty, come on, talk to me. Tell me about yourself.
I grew up in Los Angeles in California. I also don't have a long history of cannabis use. And I was a stay-at-home mom for the last 20 years before Carrie and I started on this endeavor. And like she said, we walked into a dispensary one day and really started, it was the first time that we started thinking, like, as you talk about using plants as medicine, and to use the cannabis plant as medicine was real eye-opener for us. We had no idea all the benefits there was available in a dispensary through the cannabis plant. And we started from that knowledge. We took that knowledge and then we really couldn't find the product that we wanted to use. So that's how Hello Again was born.
Awesome. I want to say thank you to you guys. I'm going to read some stats for our listener to even have a feel of what we are talking about when we talk about menopause or perimenopausal stage. Over 75 million women here in the United States, we're not even talking about the whole world, have some types of menopausal phase that we are going through. Apart from that, over 80% of OB-GYN said they're not even equipped to take care of this topic. And we're also talking about part of the symptoms that we see when we talk about menopause or around that age, and even women generally, is depression.
Yeah.
And when you look at clinical trials, we weren't even included in a lot of those medication when they were developing this medication. Women weren't even included in this trial until recently that they are now talking to us about it. And part of the symptoms we see are anxiety, which we are more predisposed towards. Mm-hmm. So if our OB is not equipped to deal with this issue, what are we supposed to do? We're supposed to deal with it. We should just hush and just deal with it and suffer in silence. Well, you ladies have decided to say, no, we are not going to suffer in silence. We're going to take it upon ourselves. That is amazing. Talk to me about this menopause, the symptoms of menopause. Carrie?
Well, first of all, you're right. Women don't know much about menopause, and we like to think of it as reverse puberty. It doesn't all happen in one day. Subtle changes happen over time, and you start feeling, less and less like yourself. So menopause itself is actually the year anniversary after your last period. So when you haven't had a period for a year, they'll say that you're in menopause. And that's when we all think the problems start. But no. A good 10 years before that, often 10 years before that day, you're in perimenopause. And that's when, like Patty, you can't sleep, or your sleep problems get worse. You get anxiety. You get body temperature regulation problems, those classic hot flashes and night sweats that they, draw cartoons about. Mood swings. You have anxiety, mood swings. You start not being able to grasp certain words. You're thinking about things, you forget things, and little by little, those things can add up, but you don't know really necessarily what's going on because no one's talked to you about it. And women aren't necessarily even talking to each other about it. When Carrie and I were in that dispensary listening to all the things that cannabis could address, we started talking about the symptoms we were having for the first time, having known each other for, almost 20 years. So it's important to talk about what you're going through, but the symptoms can start subtly and then layer
and layer and layer and layer. And then soon you just don't feel like yourself anymore. And you think you're losing your mind, or you just can't get the energy to go do things. And it's really too bad, because if you could identify it sooner, you could address the symptoms sooner, and could feel better. There's no reason to go on for a long time not feeling well.
That mental fog was my biggest problem. That was the thing that brought me to my knees. I wasn't articulating myself well. My kids kept saying, I told you that, Mom. I told you. I'd come home from the store, with 3 things, not the thing I went for, all of it. I'm sure that sounds really familiar to all of your listeners. And I really worried about it. It shook my confidence. I saw myself editing my personality because in social situations, because I just didn't have confidence that I was going to express myself well. And I got in the car one day and drove myself to a memory clinic because I was sure that this was early onset Alzheimer's. I was a movie of the week in my head. And no, it was related to the chaos that happens with these hormone fluctuations as your sex hormones are winding down.
It's a major issue. And when you add the fact that any women issue, our issues, it's like the society doesn't even care about us like that. For example, growing up as a young girl, some communities, you cannot even talk about period. Mm-hmm. It's like a taboo. It's like you are unclean. I remember growing up as a little girl, when you have your period, the girls, sometimes you can't even give some men, elders of your household, food. Then you can't go to church. It's like we just treated like an outcast. And talk to me, Patty, about that. And the stigma that comes when you even talk about menopause, when you talk about period. Talk to me, Patty, about that. How do you even get the confidence, the boldness to say, this is what's going on? It's kind of like cannabis. It's like you guys are superhero. You're tackling 2 taboos together at the same time. Who does that? Talk to me, Patty.
Well, so and to your point, it is actually a beautiful gift that women have, the ability to reproduce, and it can be shameful, and people treat it shamefully. So I went to my doctor for years, a woman doctor, and I kept saying, I'm having hot flashes. I must be in menopause. I'm this, I'm that. I kept telling her my symptoms. No, you're not in menopause yet. So I thought I was crazy. I just thought I didn't understand it. But of course, like Carrie said, I wasn't technically in menopause because I still was having my period, but I was having all my worst symptoms well before that. So, the information you get is just not enough out there to start addressing the symptoms and not think that it's something just happening to yourself. So joining a community and talking to people is always really helpful. And then, Carrie and I started a cannabis business in our early 50s, which, it's a great time in life, and you really shouldn't be kept back by not feeling well. So we like to say we're a generation of women in 50 that have 50 good years left to live. There's a lot of time left. And I think there's a lot of stigma around the word menopause as something maybe your grandmother was going through, or somebody this older lady in your life that you knew when you were younger that seemed really, really old. But so we like to kind of just shine a light on it and show, J-Lo is probably going through menopause.
Yeah.
It's looking pretty good now, the early 50s. So
I think you were wondering like how we kind of found the confidence to do this. Mm-hmm. And I think that a wonderful thing happens when you're in your 50s or late 40s or so. Your brain actually does start working differently. And from a cognitive, emotional standpoint, you really do stop worrying so much about what everybody else thinks, or fitting in, or, asking silly questions. You really somehow, or failing, like all of those things don't matter as much to you as they used to. And I think that if we had stumbled upon the cannabis world and educated ourselves and had this idea, but we were in our 30s, I'm not sure we would have done this. I hope we would have. but there's something about being our age that really, we just both felt free for, not the first time in our lives, but, definitely for the first time in our lives to follow our guts and not really worried about what other people think. And, I'm sure some people thought it was crazy. And I'm sure some people, have thoughts about speaking the way we do about menopause or, cannabis, or there's one more taboo that we threw in just to make our lives a little bit more complicated. And that's the fact that our product is a vaginal suppository.
Oh, holy.
Yeah. So it was the delivery method that really, hit home for Carrie and I when we knew that we could deliver the benefits of the cannabis plant in a way where a woman could function, get on with her day, not have a head high, but feel the benefits of cannabis. That's when we knew that we wanted to keep going. Yeah.
And if that meant it had to be a suppository, so be it. There's no reason to do this.
Suppository, menopause, and cannabis.
Oh, Lord. Oh, you guys are like, well, let's do this. Let's do this now. And I totally agree with you. As we age, I tell folks every day, I say, you know what? Life is so short. Life is, for me, I had polio growing up as a young girl. So I had a physical disability with movement and all that stuff. And for years, I will just not even want to go out. I still don't really wear short dresses, but it got to a stage and I'm like, why do you have to live your life based on what people think? Who cares? Let them live their life. And that was a change in my life. I call myself a non-conformist. I really don't care. It's my life. Yeah. And I'm so glad that you guys took that position, because there are a lot of, as we grow older, that boldness, but there are a lot of women, especially some of us that are very conventional women, that still right there, they are not able to make that move. And when we see somebody like you come out and talk about this topic boldly, that gives not even just women in their 50s or towards their 50s, even younger women, the boldness to go for it.
Don't wait. Do it now.
Well, take control of your wellness. I mean, I wish we could teach 12-year-old girls to not care what other people think and to ask questions and to learn how to make themselves feel better. I mean, that would be the best case scenario. Not wait till you're 50.
Yeah. Talk to me about the suppository, that route of administration. How does it work? And I know how it works, but I want to hear it from you ladies. Give us the basic terms. How does it work? Our audience would like to know. Carrie?
Absolutely. So the reason our product is a vaginal suppository is that we really wanted to create something where we could use the THC and the CBD in order to balance your systems, because your systems have been knocked out of balance because of these hormone changes. So your sleep system, your cognitive system, your temperature regulation system, your emotions. But we wanted something that didn't give us a high, because we wanted to use it in the morning, get on with our day. And even at night, we wanted to be able to sleep well, but also be alert in the middle of the night should you need to be. So once we knew that that's what we were trying to accomplish, the vaginal suppository was for sure the delivery method that we needed to use. And that's because a couple of different things. One, it bypasses the digestive tract and the liver. So how it's metabolized in the digestive tract might depend on your size, your metabolism speed, what you just ate, if you just exercised, all of that. When the THC gets into the liver, and the liver starts to break down the THC, there's a metabolic component that is created, and it's also psychoactive. So the psychoactivity of THC is really boosted when it's metabolized by the liver. So we're bypassing that whole system. Number two, the vaginal reproductive tract of a female has a ton of cannabinoid receptors, second only to the brain. The brain is the most dense area, but the female reproductive tract is very dense. So we're able to put the THC and the CBD locally right there. So as a result, we've had a lot of great success with pain management, especially before you're in menopause, menstrual pain and endometriosis pain. It makes perfect sense that that works. Back pain, that could be an issue for women of all ages. And even for me, I have a little arthritis in my thumb. I hate saying that. I feel so old, but I do. And when I use the product, even that's relieved. So it's not just locally around the pelvis, and then there are blood vessels and capillaries as well, which can kind of extend there's kind of a chain reaction that happens with the calming of the muscles and the balancing of the systems. And that can kind of, anything that's delivered through a suppository, usually the effects are last for about 6 hours. And the same is true for our product.
Awesome. Patty, go for it.
Okay. So, I mean, Carrie touched on the consistency, which was really important to us because we tried, obviously, before we even thought of making a product, we thought, okay, let's try some edibles. Let's try all the different kinds of delivery methods. And, you know, if she had one and I had one, we'd have a different experience. And so we wanted to create a product that, well, if the three of us all used it, we would have relatively the same effect, not only between ourselves, but each time you use it as a consumer or user of the product. So, you know, we didn't want it to be a guess like, oh, this time I can't get in my car now and drive because something happened. And so that was really important to us.
So, then what we did is, so we knew that the cannabinoids, the THC and the CBD, work well together. They work better together than they do separately. And we knew that that was what was going to help balance systems. But we also knew that we wanted to add other botanicals into the product. From the very beginning, that was important to us because we know that those work too. So in fact, when we were formulating our product, we got the formulation correct without the cannabis in it first, because we wanted to see how well we could make, for example, in our sleep product, the lavender and the chamomile and the other product, neroli oil, the other botanicals that are in there work on their own before we layered in the cannabis. And of course, once the cannabis was in there, that it was an exponential effect. And then we also, once it became a vaginal suppository, we realized, oh, well, we can now address another part of menopause, vaginal dryness, which, you know, it's a part of getting older and it doesn't go away. And, you know, your hot flashes, you might actually grow out of at some point, but the dryness, no. So our base is cocoa butter and avocado oil and vitamin E. And we're taking, there's a little helichrysum in there. So that's antibacterial, antimicrobial. We have a little apple cider vinegar in there for the same reason, plus pH balance. So it's a thoughtfully made product that is based in the power of plants.
Are you guys sure you are not a chemist or pharmaceutical or big farmers?
No.
This is amazing. This is amazing. Because for me, as a chemist, I had a minor. My undergrad, I had a minor in chemistry, major in biology before I went to pharmacy school. So I have that chemistry background as well. As a chemist as well, I'm hearing what Carrie is saying, what you ladies are saying, and I'm nodding my head that, yeah, they know what even the cocoa butter, or even the cocoa butter, or these are acidic oil. They're not as basic as some other type of oil, and that will be the pH balance of the vaginal area. It's like you guys pay absolute attention to every details. And when you're talking about adding adaptogen and all this other stuff, that is freaking cool.
Really appreciate that.
Well, I mean, we really were customer founders. We kind of created a product that we dreamed that would work for us, and are just so happy that we put it out there and other people are finding relief as well.
Yeah, that is so cool. And from you guys being able to even explain it to us in a layman term, it's so obvious that you have used this stuff. You know what it does. It's doing what it needs to do. I'm glad to hear. I'm gonna go back to you, Patty. Talk to me when it comes to us women. Men, they can just get up and hang out with their bodies and just take whatever they are told and just run with it. We can be very skeptical. We will roll our eyes. We will think all kind of reason why it cannot be. How is how challenging has it been talking to women in particular about using cannabis, not just for menopause, but also as a suppository? I mean, that route,
Yeah.
that's a really challenging one.
It's definitely been a challenge. We started just before we got on our first shelves, just before COVID hit. And I think because of COVID, as time went by, women were actively looking for other ways to sort of make themselves feel better. You can only drink so many bottles of wine, or, do all these things that are bad, that make you feel better immediately, but not in the long run, may make you feel worse. So we had friends that would be like, "You're what? What is it? No, I can't do that. I can't try cannabis. I can't do this. I can't do that." But then, months and months and months of lockdown and, being home and anxiety in your family, whatever the dynamics that were happening that were causing, anxiety and stress, people were more open to it. So it's getting a little bit easier. I think people, and it's just been around longer and longer. And I think, people like you are talking about it more. And so it's definitely, I think, and as a vaginal suppository, that's also a challenge. But women, that's a space that's been used by women for many things for many years. So we kind of figured it might as well be our source of wellness now. And it's sort of like a happy sort of metaphor.
And one thing when it comes to suppository route of administration, that's one of the most effective routes that we have in pharmaceutics. It has more it's able to absorb better compared to a whole lot of other routes. I'm going to come back to you, Carrie. And when you were talking earlier, you were mentioning the fact that, okay, you just don't want it to be a CBD product alone, because at the end of the day, our body is already producing not just CBD. They have similar products with THC and CBD and Andavan 2AG. These are similar that our body is already producing. In fact, part of why we are able to use this product called cannabis is because our body already have receptor for it. If we don't have, it's just like morphine. We're already producing endorphin in our body. That's why morphine can work on those receptors. So talk to me about, you were mentioning the fact that you wanted it to have THC as well as CBD, that broad spectrum. Did you think about the topping part of it? Is there any topping in it? How does that work?
Well, we're building up a terpene profile through the different botanicals that we've added in. So, I'm not going to be able to speak terpenes without my notes as well as I'd like to, but for example, the pinene that's in rosemary is working with the THC and the CBD, and that
it can help us to kind of sharpen that when we are down. When you talk about pinene, those are the ones that kind of give you that stimulation. So maybe we are down, the fogginess, that can help with that.
That's exactly why it's in our product. So Patty and I knew enough to know that, chamomile is calming and lavender is calming and rosemary is energizing. And so are, a few other things. We knew enough that we thought, great, we want to include those in our product, because we thought that just solo on their own, they would be helpful, which they are. But the thing is, it's like a rock group. When they're all together with the cannabis, the outcome is greater than each of the individual powers of each plant. And that's essentially what we've done, is we've kind of created our own terpene profile as though we cultivated a strain of cannabis for Hello Again.
Yeah, and see, that is another thing, because when we talk about topping, Papi, the bottom line is that all our organic products already have terpene in it.
Right.
All the smells that we smell, the smell of roses, the smell of orange, that's your limonene right there. So it's nothing dangerous. Is that how you are explaining it to folks when you talk to them about this product?
We do. I mean, it's an all natural product. It really is. So we like to think it can do no harm. So
yeah. No, I mean, I think, look, I always use the example of lavender when I'm trying to explain how terpenes work, because people get that. They get that lavender is relaxing, and it's because of the terpenes. You and I know that it's because of the terpenes. So that's a good talking point for us as well. I mean, I love that there's so much education baked into our product. It makes our job a little bit more difficult because we really have to educate people about menopause, about cannabis, about suppositories, about terpenes. But I mean, I guess I'm realizing right now I was a teacher. I love the aspect of it.
I can see that.
Well, I mean, and we made what worked, and that's ended up taking a lot of explanation. But if we can get through that education, then people find it and they're happy with it. And, it's not a low dose product, which I think, again, back to being a vaginal suppository, we can put quite a bit of THC, like in our sleep suppository, vaginal suppository, there's 20 milligrams of THC, which I would be hospitalized if I ate a candy of 20 milligrams of THC.
I know.
The other thing, that takes a lot of explaining and education is, why doesn't that, get you high? It doesn't. We don't have a ton of scientific explanations for it because it's not being studied, but we know it doesn't. And it's great because we get to use all that benefit that other delivery methods don't get to use.
And I'm going to help a little bit. I'm a little nerdy. Part of why it doesn't get you so high also is the fact that those terpenes, they also do what we call modulatory work. They kind of tamper down, like when you add the panning, it's going to get up higher a little bit with the THC. But when you get the lavender, those are calming. So they're going to have modulated in one way. Then the major modulator that we have there is your CBD.
Yeah.
I call them tag team. The way when I talk about CBD and THC, I said, think of your husband and wife that have lived together for maybe 50 years. How did they survive 50 years? They get on each other's nerves, but they are the best friend for each other as well. So CBD is that product that helps modulate the effects of THC. What does that even mean? It means it tampers down the psychoactivities of THC. It brings it down. It's like telling maybe I want to go crazy, and Charles is saying, calm down, honey, calm down. So and it doesn't work in the same receptor. So it just stays outside of the receptor where THC is and calm it down. That's why when we are talking about Delta 8, and because we have not yet, we don't really have much evidence with Delta 8 and the fact of the way the people are manufacturing it with acid and cooking it up. Part of what we advise folks sometimes is do one-to-one. When you do one-to-one, it's like, because part of the beauty of Delta 8 is that it have the psychoactivities of THC. The other way you can get that is you do CBD have, THC have. So the CBD will bring down the psychoactivity of THC. And I think that's part of what is going on with that product.
Thank you.
A little nerdy right there.
Yeah.
That's
our challenge. That's a lot to explain in an elevator pitch.
I know. And just tell them, well, think of husband and wife that have lived together for so long. They complement each other. They balance each other out. So the CBD in this product is balancing the THC. And that's why it doesn't get us high.
CBD in my marriage.
Other than that, so how are people responding to this product? What are the feedbacks that you are getting from people?
Well, that's the best part.
Yeah. So we formulated it for ourselves. We put it on the shelves for women in menopause, and we got a lot of positive feedback. But what was kind of fun, what came after was a lot of feedback from younger women, because they have a lot of period pain, cramping, endometriosis. So we got a lot of feedback, positive feedback for just that, which was fun. And then we even got feedback from older women who had maybe bursitis in their hips or arthritis, and it was helping with that. So we really like to think of it as a wellness product for women of all ages.
That is awesome. That is awesome.
Anxiety.
So yeah, go ahead.
There's no age range on anxiety, pain, so we've been really proud of it, and the feedback we've been getting.
And Patty touched on it earlier, but COVID really gave our product more exposure, I think, more quickly than it would have normally, because people were just looking for solutions.
Yeah.
And dispensaries were open.
Yeah, it was essential. Yeah. Go ahead, Patty.
Yeah, no, they were open. I think people were turning to cannabis and going into dispensaries, maybe quicker than they would have if COVID hadn't happened. So then they could find us there.
What I tell folks is this: that cannabis is not different from your spinach or your ginger or your garlic. It has a seed. We grow it in the soil. We put a seed in the soil. It grows up like our broccoli, ginger, garlic, spinach. It's just that Mother Nature was just so kind to us and added those extra cannabinoid, CBD, THC, just to bless us. Just to bless us. Why are we here? We are here because of politics. Mm-hmm. And the big pharma. Do you know? Okay, look at your product. I am a pharmacist. I have extras in the pharmacy that people come to. These are agents that can even cause blood clot. Mm-hmm. I mean, these medicines are supposed to help us, heal us, but they're causing us more harm. Do you know what kind of disruptor that your product would be to those kind of products like the estrogen, the hormone therapy, hormone replacement therapy? That's why the big pharmas are fighting so hard.
Mm-hmm. That's right. And sleeping aids, Ambien in particular. You were talking earlier about how men's bodies and women's bodies metabolize things so differently. And, up until really recently, studies were only made on men's bodies, and Ambien is a perfect example of that. It's stored in the fat. It can give all kinds of cognitive problems, amnesia problems, most especially with women.
So you don't even want to get me started on Ambien, because that product, you can take that medicine, Zolpidem, and start sleepwalking and get in your car and start driving.
Yeah. Yep. No, I know.
Yeah, that absolutely happens. And it's just, I think we're in a little bit of a generational difference between Patty and I in our 50s. And we have some women working for us who are in their 40s, and they're much more open to cannabis than women who are specifically our age. And it's interesting to me to see women. I mean, they'll be trading pills try one of these blue things help me, and back and forth, and with when they don't recognize one ingredient on the bottle. And yet it's been so indoctrinated in their heads that cannabis is bad, they won't try a cannabis product for the same relief, even though they recognize everything on the back of the box. But I do think that... Go ahead,
Carrie.
I do think that the next generation of women coming into menopause have a different mindset.
Yeah.
They're much more open to cannabis and to plant medicine in general.
Patty, to follow up on what Carrie just said, and this generation of women, the baby boomers, or maybe I think they are baby boomers, or maybe close to the baby boomers, the generation after the baby boomers. They are the one right now that really need this medicine. Because when we are talking about inflammatory pain, when we are talking about osteoporosis, all these kind of ailments that that cannabis can help us manage. We are not talking about cure or anything, even if it doesn't cure, just to be able to help manage symptoms. That will be a great thing. What do you think? How do you think we can start encouraging this generational, not even just women, because this product is not just for women. In my opinion, you guys have done a tremendous job with the content, with the ingredient that is in there. How do you think we can start talking to them to see that all this over 50 years ago is been a lie? Even the Queen Victoria used this product for menstrual pain. How do you think we can start reaching out to this generation?
Well, it's so unfortunate that even though, say, in the state of California, it is legal, we're so hindered by what we can say on social media, on a Facebook page, we can't share everything we want to about our product because we'll be taken down. So it still feels like an illegal, illicit drug, even though it's a, plant-based wellness medicine. So that, I think if they could start changing and relaxing the rules around that, so we can have normal conversations just like any other supplement, or even alcohol gets to, talk about all that stuff. And it's so damaging to your system. So I think the beginning is to be able to just speak openly about it, like a wellness product.
Yeah. What I do with my products is that I just call it plant medicine on some platform.
Yeah, but that's unfortunate. We should be able to say what it is. It's too bad. So that I think, unfortunately, for a woman who's nervous, it still has a little element of being illicit or illegal because you can't quite come out and say it. So I think that's sort of something that holds our messaging back, and that's unfortunate.
Go ahead, Carrie.
I forgot what I was going to say.
It's okay. It's okay. I am not there yet. I forget everything all the time. And one of the places that you guys can jump on or get your assistant to get on is LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a very, very great platform for promoting products like that. I'm gonna ask you, is it just a one dosage form? Does it come in different dosage form?
We have one formulation for sleep and one formulation for every day And you can, I use it back to back every morning, every night. I can't sleep without it. I love it so much. I mean, I had 10 years of waking up every morning at 2 a.m. and, watching the clock till like 3:30. And so finally I can sleep through the night. But so I use it pretty much back to back. Carrie kind of uses it a little more sporadically as her system needs it. So, but we only have one formulation for each, purpose.
Okay. So what is your advice to folks that are new to cannabis, that are listening to us, that feel like, okay, this is amazing. I would like to know more. What is your advice for them, and where can we find those products?
Well, I would first start with our website, which is helloagainproducts.com. And we are limited now to sell in the state of California. So if you're in the state of California and you want to find us, just go on our website and put in your zip code, and you can find a licensed dispensary or delivery service near you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
We get emails all the time from people in other states and even now other countries. Mm-hmm. And they're like, I need you, or my mom needs you, or, where can I find you? And we just, unfortunately, again, because we're limited, unlike every other industry, to just sell within the state of California, because that's where we make our product right now.
We're working on coming to other states. That's our main focus in 2022.
And I'm going to give you the final word, Carrie. What is your advice for folks that are just coming into this space and feeling like, well, if these amazing ladies can come out here and talk about it openly, I would love to try this product. What is your advice for them as per cannabis being medicine?
Well, I think, and this is something that I've heard Patty say, we finish each other's sentences now, as you've probably seen. Now I'm taking her thoughts, but you were right. if you're kind of cannabis curious and you want a very approachable way to experiment, a bath bomb. A bath bomb is a great way for you to kind of absolutely whole body feel what the plant can do. And I think it's a great way to kind of just get comfortable with going to a dispensary. Dispensaries are beautiful places now. They're not kind of what we're thinking of as the dark and shady backroom places. Many of them, and we're so lucky to have so many great dispensary partners, look like little jewelry shops and boutiques. They really have done an amazing job of having windows and, making it much more approachable.
And knowledgeable staff. I mean, they can help you. But yeah.
Absolutely. And not be afraid to ask questions. I think that's really key. The staff in most dispensaries are really knowledgeable. They're very patient. You're not the first timer that they've seen that day, nor will you be the last. Mm-hmm. And grab a friend and go to a dispensary.
Yeah. And there are products, there's a lot of beverages now, tea, bath bombs, things that you will recognize as something you're comfortable using, not a vape or a smoke or whatever. And, start low, go slow till start slow, and the staff can help you, but just try it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Awesome. Grab a friend. I have two amazing friends. It's years and years and years of awesomeness. I want to say thank you, ladies, Patty and Carrie, for being here today. And thank you so much for what you are doing. It is life-changing. It's changing lives. You guys are life changers. I really do appreciate you guys. Folks, that is our show for today. And for those of you that can say you don't sit around, come join the village. It takes a village to run this show. So come sponsor this show. Slide in my DM, wci-health.com or WCI Health 19. And remember, we have Cannabis Psychedelic Club on Saturday, 12 noon Eastern Standard Time, and African Cannadelic Club on Sunday, 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. Yeah, that is hello again, ladies. Thank you so much for being here. Until next time, remember, health equals well. Bye, guys.